Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my video, Leo July 2020 Must Knows. We've got the third of 3 eclipses this month, and just to put this in perspective, we've got 6 eclipses this year. Eclipses tend to bring massive and dramatic change, burning off of karma and setting you up on your highest path in magical ways, and sometimes ways that leave you wondering what the heck happened. So eclipses are connected to the nodal path, which is connected to our highest expression this lifetime. So when we're in eclipse time, it's really an activator to get you on your highest path. And in a year like 2020, where we have 6 eclipses, that doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes there's 4 eclipses that are really notable, and but not this year. This year we've got massive change, massive retrograde action, and 3 of those 6 eclipses are occurring right in this time period, with 2 being in June and this third one being in July. But we can definitely be seeing after effects or even the first effects coming from the June eclipses even into July. So this is just like a crazy time. We've got Venus, which had gone direct in June, phasing out of its post-retrograde. That happens at the end of the month, and every day in July we're getting further and further from that. We've got Mercury going direct, and then towards the end of July, we're done with that. And then at the end of July, we have the Mars pre-retrograde transit shadow period starting up. So we've got really busy stars. Now add to all of that we've got birthdays coming for Leo placements. So our early friends are going to have their birthdays this month. And even if you're watching for your moon or your rising sign, the sun crossing over that point in your chart is a very magical slate cleaning, open opportunity for positive transformation. So we've got a lot to talk about. So let's just get right into it. We've got a very strong cluster of emotion. Okay, I'm using the early chart right now, but unless I tell you otherwise, I'm talking about things that are true for all placements, and I'll differentiate out as relevant here. So the strong cluster of emotion doesn't flow well with Leo energies, because Leo is about action, it's about expression, and these water energies dousing your fire, you're going to feel it. Doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it's definitely going to mean home and family take front and center over some of your creative babies, possibly, because there are going to be things that need attention in your home and housing and real estate and your family and your inner world that won't be able to be avoided. Okay, so that's the first thing to know. The second thing is that for the early degree placements, and let's just now start to differentiate out. Early degrees basically are July born, or 0 to 9 degrees if you're watching for your moon or rising. Middle, around August 1st through 10th, or 10 to 19 degrees, and late, around August 11th through the rest of the sign, or 20 to 29 degrees. So it's really the early degree placements that start out the month with this full 12th house. We'll talk about that, what that means, but I just want to show you here how it's staggered. So look at the middle degree placements. See how that cluster that was in the 12th house, that's still back here in the 11th house. And the same is true for the late degree placements, and it's in the 11th house and it's actually further back. So what that means is that all of the things we said are true about the cluster of emotion, but the moving into this 12th house, that's going to be staggered. And for those of you towards the end of the sign, you're not going to have this happening until like August, as we get even deeper in August for those of you very late into the sign. But this is really critical to understand, because the 12th house is the house of your unconscious mind. It's the place where all of your fears and all of your potentials and all of your karmic history and all of your ancestral energy and all of the Akashic records and all of the things that are holding you back from the life that you want, and all of the things that are the patterns that are giving you the things that you already have that you want, all of that's in there. It's a pretty busy house. And it's a water house, okay? So these are water signs moving in this water house. And that is highly emotional. So for better or worse, you're not getting out of these emotions, okay? Now we do have some blessings to offset with Venus and Mars both being in beautiful aspects for you, which we'll get to that. But staying here in the 12th house. So before your birthday, or before the sun crosses over your moon or rising, whatever you're watching for, this cluster happens in the 12th house, okay? And what that does is it shows you the things that you don't want. And sometimes it does it very vividly. And it shows you the things you're still working with. And the reason why is because we live in a benevolent universe where everything is divinely lined up. I mean, if you look at the orbits of planets, the orbits of the planets fit mathematically into each other in this magical way. I'm going to give you a nice visual of this in my new book, Planetology. But this coherence that is natural in the universe, that's always there regardless of whatever chaos we feel is happening. That order is always at play, and we can see this as planets move through these houses in this stepwise manner, working in certain sections. So we get highlighted, we get the spotlight on this dark space before we have birthday wishes, or before you have your clean slate from the sun moving over your moon or rising. Okay, so birthday wishes happen at your solar return, which is the sun in the sky at that certain degree you were born. The sun gets back to that degree you were born. You have your solar return. Since the sun in the chart represents your desires, birthday wishes come from that because it's this portal for your desires that are open. So if you want to learn more about how you can maximize astrological power periods, I will be talking about this a lot in my book. But you can also check out, for the meantime, my video called Making Wishes Come True, using astrological power periods. So if you just search for Annie Making Wishes Come True, you should find it. And that will show you. You basically want to write down your wishes, say them out loud, and feel them as if they've come true already, so that your subconscious mind thinks that you want more of that. Okay? So you get 10 wishes. All right, so, but you can see, like, that 12th house isn't being super activated yet for you middle and late degree placements. But as the month moves on, those of you earlier, in the middle, you'll get that, and then it will just keep rolling to everybody. So really good things to do with this are quiet introspection without action in some ways, okay? So meaning if you are tuning into yourself and you're like, I'm mad as hell about something, it's not always the best to go now and tell whoever you're mad at, I'm so mad and I'm yelling and all of this is coming out. And it's like an inner emotional processing, or using techniques that work, like for healing trauma, for healing PTSD, for, hypnotherapy, psychology. EFT is one of my favorite things. The Presence Process by Michael Brown. I list these all the time. But it's really great for that type of thing where you can work with the addictions and the challenges and the issues that come up, because humans have an addictive nature, even if they don't have the thing that we call addictions, like the substances and things that people normally think of as addictions. Humans are addictive by nature, which is part of why technology gets addictive. All of these kind of things where we get stuck in this. So an evaluation of these things is very much in order for this time, and then a taking of productive action so that you can have your new clean slate without all of that garbage that is no longer serving you. All right, so for those of you who are in the middle and late degree placements, since you've got this 11th house still very much activated, what that energy is, well, first of all, it's bringing high emotion to your friendships and to your social media, for better or worse. It's, internet-based projects, groups, your place in the group, your place in a tribe, your soul tribe, people that speak your language, not necessarily your birth language or the languages you speak verbally. It's like your energetic language. So those things are going to come up a lot. But what the energy is really good for is networking, is working through things that come up with friendships or getting connected with friends again. It also can be great for making new friends, being part of new groups, and the energy for the new things is going to get stronger towards the end of the month. This month is just imagine this whole month as this process of a dog after they've taken a bath or been given a bath. It's like a shaking off of the emotions. So June and July are super emotional, but as we get into the Leo energy starting towards the end of the month, that water is being shaken off. And every week we move into July, more water is being shaken off. Okay, so dogs shake because it's uncomfortable. They don't like how it feels, all that water hanging on them, right? It mats down their fur, and they're shaking it off. So you're shaking off all of these emotions throughout the month, so that as the fire energies come back and you become enlivened and creative and get your passions going again and things are more flowing and more clear, then you can better use that energy. So some very important dates to note. Okay, so basically friendships, networking, online things, really good to work with, being involved in community groups, setting up things for community-based projects, things like that. Really great use of the energy. So the eclipses and the retrogrades are going to bring in a lot of information and a lot of options. But you're not necessarily going to have the clarity to do as much with it as you might want to. Around July 22nd through the 28th, the energy starts to clear around the 20th, but the 22nd through the 28th is this very magical window, okay? We're not going to be free from the retrograde shadow periods and retrogrades for this whole year. We're going to have something like that going on all year. But this represents the point where we have a string of sweet aspects, and the month of July has pretty much equal challenging and sweet aspects, potentially challenging and sweet aspects. So when that happens, your perspective can kick you over to the positive side, but a lot of those aspects are nice here in this window without being encumbered by salty ones, because all of the rest of July up until the 22nd and all after the 28th, even into August, is sweet, salty, sweet, salty, sweet, salty. So it's every time you try to have, this positive energy to do something, there's this other thing like the angel and the devil kind of thing, right? So this window, unless something superseding in your personal chart comes up, this window is nice and open because it's trailed off from the Venus and Mercury retrograde shadows. And it hasn't quite gotten deep into the Mars retrograde pre-transit shadow period yet. Okay, so that Mars thing just starts right at the very end of July here. So this window, you're not even really working with that, and the other ones trail off. So launches, publishing, big decisions, moves, signing paperwork, agreements, big things that you've got to do. This is a really nice open energy that you're not going to have for a long time. And you're going to want to do stuff. Trust me about that, because Mars is in Aries now. Okay, so let's get back to that. We were talking about that earlier. All right, so Mars is here. I'm using the early chart, but we're talking about everybody unless I differentiate out. Mars is here in Aries. That makes beautiful trine 120-degree angle, best angle in astrology. Now I'm calling it the personal chef angle, okay, whereas the 60-degree angle here, this Venus is making, it's 2 signs away at 60 degrees. This is the ingredients on the counter. So when it comes to this energy of Venus, there are going to be things that come in that are ingredients on the counter that you have to use to make the dish. Okay, but this stuff with Mars is just kind of like your personal chef shows up and brings you food. Okay, kind of it makes me think of this magical thing that my community in Sedona does, which is when new families have babies, we rally together and pick a day for everybody to bring food to the family so that they don't have to deal with that after they have the baby. And that's what makes me think of this angle. It's kind of so what the family experiences is you open the door and there's food in a cooler out there, and then you eat it and you put the dishes out there and they pick it up and you're there undisturbed with the family and not having to deal with it, but you're still receiving it. Okay, so that's what this energy is like. And this is going to be like this from now in July until the beginning of January 2021, because Mars is dancing around in the sign it rules, Aries, which is in a beautiful angle for you for this whole time, because it's going to move to a very high degree of Mars and it's going to go retrograde back very deep into it, then it's going to go forward again. All right, so when it comes to how you use your energy, this is the big theme that's coming up. Be very aware of how you use your energy, and how you could be using it in better ways, and how you could be using it in more productive ways and fulfilling ways, and how much more you can coax things out of the universe in a way that works better for you. All right, so this is going to be really exciting happening this month and for all that time. And then Venus is here for a shorter time, just adding this kind of, the love, beauty, money, design, kisses from my grandma Marge situation to, to all of these potentials for you. So all of that's happening at the same time as all of this emotional stuff and the things to work through in the 12th house, and this is, is a lot going on. So I also wanted to talk about this last eclipse. So in the May report, I talked about where the June 5th eclipse is going to hit for Leos, all your early, middle, and late placements. In the June report, I showed you where the end of June one is going to hit. And now we're going to talk about where the July one's going to hit. So this is the end of an era. Really, it's 2 years, but still. Lunar eclipse, 13 degrees of Capricorn, ending the Cancer-Capricorn cycle that's been going since the middle of 2018. Things involving home, work, family, houses, housing, real estate, anything having to do with father figures, fathers, mothers, employment of any kind. And for those of you who employment isn't an issue, or you don't work, or you don't need to, your purpose, your place out in the world, what you're doing, what you're wanting to do, how you're showing up out in the world versus your inner world. Like this eclipse cycle has been very heavy into that theme, those themes for everybody. So expect to see a lot of that going on now. And specifically this Capricorn energy is, major endings. And sometimes major endings, plant the seed immediately for these new beginnings, and the new beginnings show up. And sometimes the endings happen and you feel like there's this empty space for a while. Okay, so things involving employment are going to be really activated here. And things involving your career choices, your profession, all of that. Expect that to come up in a very big way. Definitely look for my video, Eclipses in Capricorn or 10th house. So if you either go to my homepage on YouTube or search for Annie Botticelli, Eclipses in Capricorn, on my homepage, it's at the bottom of the whole page. There's this eclipse series. So everyone in the zodiac has this Eclipses in Capricorn situation. So you can read more about what I've seen with that. Now we're going to drill down to see where it is in the chart for Leo. Right, so 13 degrees of Cap, early degree, that's in the 6th house. We'll talk about what this means in a second. Oh, that's late. Let's see, middle degree placements. Come on, y'all. There you go. All right, 13 degrees of Cap is, wait, that's late one. Sorry. Okay, is on the line. So basically 6th and 5th, and then late degree, that's going to be in your 5th house. All right, so what does that mean? Okay, so dramatic endings, major new beginnings, drama, culmination, trajectory changes, getting activated on your highest path, sometimes through saying goodbye to things you don't want to. That's all happening. And so for early and middle, 6th, middle and late, 5th, 6th house has to do with your place of employment, what you do every day, your office dynamics. It has to do with your daily routine. So if you go to yoga and you get coffee or whatever you do, like those places and those things, those activities are all in the 6th house. This also has to do with pets. This has to do with working with animals or anything having to do with animals, your relationship with animals. And it's your health. Okay, this is a big health house. So for a lot of people, health things are going to come up. Now that can mean that you've come to a solution for a health issue, and the eclipse means the health issue is wrapped up. For some people, it means that your state of health changes dramatically because now there's a health issue or you're moving along. I have seen it happen many times that someone would be working when this, is being accentuated in the chart, is working with the health issue over a couple of years. Like I've seen situations where someone's diagnosed with cancer early in the, the eclipse cycle, and then by the end of the eclipse cycle, it's wrapped up and they're better or they're not or whatever happens. But there's like this timeline it's moving along. So this is like a grand wrap up of something involving health. But for other people, it could turn out that symptoms that have been going on now, it gets elucidated and there's a discovery made in the health sector. So it makes it very critical at this time to not let symptoms go unheard. Symptoms are our body's way of telling us that there's something wrong. And it's their language, it's like I was pulling weeds out and this bird starts squawking and I'm like very attuned to this kind of thing. I didn't just not hear it or ignore it. I was like, What are you trying to tell me? And so then I was like, oh gosh, right. There's a nest in this tree that this vine had grown on that I was trying to clear the vine off. And I was messing with the area where the nest was. Okay, so the bird was telling me that. This is like a lesser seen, more quiet, you know, you have to pay more attention to hear it. But that's how your body is too. When you have symptoms, your body's telling you that there's something wrong. It could be a mineral imbalance. It could be, you know, you need more water. It could be something super serious. But whatever it is, you've got to investigate that, because that's how you have an ongoing dialogue with your body, and that's how you can retain your vibrant health. So, symptoms at this time are very important to look into. And you might find drastic lifestyle changes, drastic changes to stress management, focus on stress management, things like that going on at this time. Regimens, diet, supplement, nutrition, exercise, things like that. And to see more about what eclipses can look like here for the early and middle degree, look for my video called Eclipses in Virgo or 6th house. You can search for that, or it's at the bottom of my homepage. Okay, so the 5th house, friends, middle and late degree, a lot of times I've seen eclipses here relate to something involving children. So pregnancies, births, notable milestones with children. This is also the house of true love. So notable things going on in the romantic sector, new love, ending of love, you know, all of things like that. This is also a house of creativity. So creative babies and creative projects you might see show up in a big way. And I call it the bucket list house, because this is like a house of fun and things that you want to do. So you might find things that you've always wanted to do. Either you're able to plan them, or you're dreaming about them, or working on it in some way, or you're able to actually do them. So you can find more ways that this shows up with my video, Eclipses in Leo or 5th house. Okay, so eclipses in Leo, and you can see how that works for you. So in general, another action-packed month. After the eclipses start to tone down a little bit, you know, things won't be as astrologically busy as they were. So we'll have a little bit of a break here, but super busy for now, and definitely take advantage of that open window. So if you'd like to know all of the dates of note, all of the aspects of note, and have what you can expect from those delivered into your inbox 1 month early, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com and sign up for my free email newsletter. I do a write-up that includes, you know, the sweet days, the salty days, what you can expect, and the general tone of the month, and some tips there. And I deliver that into your inbox 1 month early, as I do everything else. And you also get my 28-day virtual coaching program for free when you sign up for my email newsletter. You can see lots of blogs at my website as well. And all the links that I'm giving you now will be in the notes underneath the video. You just click on the little more arrow. If you would like to learn astrology or take some of my free classes, I've got a bunch of free classes, and I've got a bunch of very comprehensive courses that can help you with vocation and other self-development, including my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. So if you resonate with how I teach and you want to learn, you can go to LUMLife, L-U-M-E, life.com to see my school, Luminous Life Multiversity. You can check out all the free courses there and the other courses as well. And if you want written horoscopes and beautiful blogs, more blogs about healthy living and astrology kiss blogs, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.